Hello and welcome to the Pop-Off PCMag show where we talk about video games, the industry, trends, our opinions, games. And today we have some very special news, and to help break it down, we have a very special guest. Please welcome Mr. Danny Peña from the award-winning podcast, Gamertag Radio.
Yeah,
Danny, thanks
thanks
for
for the
being
invite. Thanks for the invite. It
Yeah.
was super last minute, but hey, man, it's about video games, man. We gotta talk about this, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody was expecting what happened today. So yeah, let's get out with it. Microsoft is buying ZeniMax Media, the owners of Bethesda. So that means they're going to own Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Wolfenstein, these huge gaming properties. They bought them for $7.5 billion. They announced today. Today, the day before Xbox Series S and X pre-orders go live. So starting off the week with a bang.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, man, this was all planned. This was like, think of it as like a game of chess. You got to think before you move, man. So this was like the right moment to get people excited. So the next day, people could just go and pre-order the system, either the S and X. And also, well, another thing that they announced too is that Xbox Game Pass now is 15 million subscribers. That is insane. A couple months ago, it was 10 million. So it's growing a lot faster now. Especially last week, they just launched Game Pass officially, xCloud for Game Pass for mobile.
Mm-hmm.
And
beta,
they sent me this a couple of days, actually last week. It's like a whole set, just a celebration of of Game Pass. So it's really cool, man. The future's looking good, man, for Xbox, and I think they definitely need that, man, because one of the things that everybody was talking about was their first party. So now they have 23 studios, man, within the company, man. So that's huge for them.
Yeah, you're right. It has huge long-term implications for their strategy and this generation going forward. But what was your just immediate reaction on seeing the news this morning?
Well, first of all, I was drinking my coffee. I was like, oh, it's a Monday. I got to get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, everybody's going to be pre-ordering, so I'm going to cover that for the podcast, right? So then my co-host, Paris Lilly, calls me. He's like, have you seen the news? I go, no. Dude, Bethesda, that's it. It's part of Xbox. I'm like, get out of here, man. And I went online. And I see the reaction from everybody. That was one of those like crazy news that I think this is the biggest news I think we've seen in this generation so far in the past decade, right? Like I think this is bigger than Mojang, right? The Minecraft.
Yeah, in terms of cash, yeah. But also,
yeah.
in terms of just like number of huge properties, like Minecraft by itself is huge, but like just Elder Scrolls alone, like Skyrim's been on everything on the planet because they know they can just get everyone to buy it again. Like,
yeah, I mean, think of this. Somebody posted this on Twitter. I can't remember who it was, but when Disney acquired Star Wars, I think it was like three point something $billion, or maybe close to four.
Like four, something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
And Marvel were both like four.
Yeah. And this is 7.5. This is even bigger. This is insane, man. So all those games, Doom, Fallout, even Starfield, which is coming out in the future, that's going to be big for Xbox, man. All of them day one for Game Pass, day one.
And it puts in perspective, like, Sony obviously beat Microsoft in terms of just console sales this past generation, but it just puts in perspective just how huge Microsoft itself as a company is. That they can just like spend money like this and just eat in a generation that didn't go so great for them, that they were able to recover like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a sign that Satya is really, the CEO of Microsoft, he is really taking this serious. Because remember, there was rumors years ago that Microsoft was planning to sell Xbox, the Xbox game division.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
And look at this. Now they're really taking this serious, man. Long term, this is going to be big. Like right now for launch, it kind of hurt them not having Halo Infinite, day one. But give it like a year or two. Once we start seeing all these exclusives that's coming out for Xbox. And we didn't even know what else Bethesda been working on behind the scenes before this announcement. So that's something we have to think about too. Now, my question that I have is a lot of these games are also going to be coming out multi-platform? Are these going to be exclusive only to Xbox? Or is it going to be a way like kind of like Minecraft where it's available everywhere, but it will be on Game Pass day one? Like, I wonder if it's going to be like that, so.
Right. Well, two of the games we know that they are working on are Deathloop and Tokyo Ghostwire. And those are going to be to PC, but those are going to have a timed PS5 launch exclusivity. And those agreements are still going to be honored, I believe. But yeah, the quote to Bloomberg was that they're going to look on it on a case-by-case basis, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see necessarily Sony or Nintendo saying that. I think they would just be like, it's just locked to our platforms, period.
I mean, if you think about it, this morning I was watching the news because now CNBC and all these major media outlets is picking up the news about Xbox. I think this is going to help them to get more promotion to people to pre-order the console tomorrow. And another thing too is more people are going to be subscribing to Game Pass, because look, think of it as this, man. People, they could easily just get the PlayStation 5, have their mobile device or a tablet, Android device, right? And they could just play these games without buying an X and an S. So, and they're still going to be playing all these games. So, no matter what, they're going to be doing pretty good, man. The company overall, man. You know,
Yeah, Microsoft is a software company. Ultimately, like they just want you to get in their ecosystem. You know, they'll let you, if you want to buy Office on your Mac, like they'll let you do it. So yeah,
yeah.
their pivot to like their real thing is Game Pass, and the more huge games they have on there, like even again, if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out on PS5 for like that's one $60 purchase, or if you subscribe to Game Pass, you get that day one along with all these other games that are going to be on there. Like that's you know. And for your Xbox Series S, which is $200 cheaper than the PS5,
yep.
that's yeah.
Yeah, but think of this too, man. If people start pre-ordering the consoles tomorrow, and they have, let's say, they already pre-ordered the PlayStation 5, they could now also get the S or the X for either do the Xbox All Access, $25 monthly or $35 monthly, and they'll get everything and probably all those games by the time the 2 year, because I think it's 24 months you have to do it by the contract.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all those games still from Bethesda now, including to Game Pass, and people are going to be like, man, you know what? Let me just subscribe. I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox makes an announcement like, you know, every person that buy a system maybe will get like a 2-month or 3-month subscription of Game Pass for free.
Oh yeah, yeah, that
So
sounds like a no-brainer.
My co-host, he mentioned this on our show, Paris. He was like, think of it as like when we bought the original NES back in the days, we had the Dunk Hunt and also Mario Brothers as part of the bundle. This is the bundle for Xbox. You know, having over 100-something games available right there for you if you buy the system from day one. So you need to buy a game. Just Game Pass and you're good, man. You know, so this is huge news, man. Yeah. And another thing that I'm wanting to next week, Xbox is having their showcase during Tokyo Game Show. So
Right,
I wonder, they're gonna have another announcement, because right now there's no rules, man. Anything is possible, you know. So
that was kind of my next point. Yeah, like this is obviously not the first, this is the biggest by far, but like Xbox has been on kind of a streak of acquiring studios lately, from Double Fine and Obsidian. Do you think that this is like the last big studio they buy, or because it kind of seems like a culmination, right? Like how much, yeah. Where do you go from here in terms of acquisitions?
Well, back in February, we had Phil Spencer on our show for our 1000 episode, and one of the questions that we asked him was like, they're planning to invest money on acquiring a studio in Japan. And that's one of the things that Phil Spencer that really wants to make that happen, man. So we just have to wait to see. I mean, that will be big. I mean, I don't know, it will be too soon to announce it back to back like this, but maybe in the future, maybe announce something like that. I think that will be good for the company too, man. Because we need Japanese games, man. Because if you think about it, Xbox invested a lot of money back during the 360 days, where it was RPGs like The Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon. Those were like really good games, man. You know, and we haven't had that at all during this generation.
Right. I mean, because it didn't really improve their their success in Japan. It didn't really move the needle that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they got the creator of Final Fantasy to make not Final Fantasy, and but
no, but the one thing that that happened a couple months ago, back during the summer, was they announced that Game Pass launch in Japan officially, and Phil Spencer, they even did like a whole announcement on YouTube, talking about it. So I think, remember, in Japan, they're really big into mobile gaming. Mobile is like their thing. That's why it's been a huge success for Nintendo. So investing money on this instead of pushing and promoting the console, this is going to help the company too. And they've been doing that now. Xbox been doing that a lot now in South Korea. They're getting like all these pro gamers and well-known celebrities start showing them like playing Game Pass on their mobile device and everything. So I think that's going to be big.
And those countries too both have great internet, so the idea of just streaming games to them is a lot more viable there than parts of America potentially.
Yeah, actually, yesterday I went to Central Park. And I was like, let me test this, because, I'm always using Wi-Fi, and I started using 5G, playing Minecraft dungeons without a controller, just touchscreen, and it plays well, really, really good. No lag, nothing. Everything was smooth, man. So imagine their connection over there. That's
Right.
better than
Yeah.
ours. So it's gonna be huge.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
So I'll say my immediate reaction to this news was that I recognize that is significant. It's very big news. But in terms of like my opinion of it, I was very like neutral on it
Mhm.
as a consumer, because I'm like, well, I feel like it doesn't change that much for me personally, because those games were gonna, those games are gonna exist no matter what. In a way, it could just potentially limit my choices. Um, and I'm just, as my own personal politics, I'm not super just jazzed about these huge companies just consolidating all just the idea of like a handful of companies being in control of all media that exists.
Mhm.
Going back to Disney, that's not something that really excites me.
Well, for me, I see this as like good for us for the consumers. Forget about the like the companies and console wars and everything, but as a gamer, it is good because competition, when there's competition, it benefits us, man. So I like seeing these, man. Like I love seeing this type of announcements from like from all three companies, So if let's say it would have been PlayStation would announce this, I think there's a huge move. So now let's see what Sony's going to do or what Nintendo's going to do. I think we're going to see a lot of big moves like this in the future for all three companies, man. I think this is not going to be the last one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that the pressure it puts on Sony is good because it pressures them to kind of up their game. Even just with pricing, like you think people were saying, like if the Series S wasn't $300 and this X wasn't $500, that they could have
Hmm.
launched the PS5 at like $100 more for each of those models.
Yeah.
So I agree that in terms of how it puts pressure on Sony. I'm just saying in terms of just like kind of just really just the world overall. I want to see. I
Hmm.
think it's better for more companies to just kind of exist. Period.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, if you actually think about it, now studios have now more support because now they have the money, right? I think that's going to open more jobs for studios to hire more developers to work on games, and also studios could also take a risk on creating games. They don't have to depend on like, oh, it's going to be a huge game on retail. No, they just release that game on Game Pass, and even if it's a failure, at least it will keep people signing up to the service. So perfect example, Obsidian was working on Grounded. That was like only like with 10, 15 people that worked on that game as a side project. And usually when companies do that, studios, they'll push it and then promote it and talk about it to like different publishers to see who would like to get it. And look, they were working on this project, and Xbox said, "Hey, you know what? This will be perfect for our server. Let's release it." So we're gonna see a lot of those type of games, like AAA games, AA games, indie games. We're gonna see a lot of that, man, for Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, that's a really good point too. Yeah, as part of a first party, you're under different. It's not like your one game is going to make or break your entire studio. Um,
Hmm.
that's a good
Exactly.
point. Yeah. So yeah, we
Exactly.
talked about how potentially how other companies might respond, but yeah, do you have yeah what do you see Sony doing potentially in response to this? We saw a lot of
Oof.
angry people on Twitter being like, oh, they need to like buy Konami or something. Like,
No, no, no. I think. I mean, there was rumors about this that Sony was gonna buy Bethesda. I saw this months ago, and it was actually, I think Bethesda was just trying to sell the company for a while. So I don't know, man. I think what Sony needs to do is start announcing games that's coming out first party to get the community excited about PlayStation 5. And we'll see if they plan to acquire another major company out there. So it's possible, man. I think the rumor was, and I read this a while ago, was like Silent Hill that was going to be like an exclusive for PlayStation. That
yeah,
was
that's
like
where
the
people are
rumor.
bringing Konami from. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, you never know, man. You never know. That could happen, man. But and
Kojima would
another,
love that.
I mean, another company that's pretty big too that I think that would be great for any of the three to buy is Sega. That will be huge too, man.
Yeah, someone needs to, some of those
It,
franchises, Sega need some love.
thank you. Hey, I don't care who acquires them. I think that will be a huge, huge move. Whoever acquires, because like Sonic is an iconic IP, man. So that will
Yeah,
be
they finally
pretty
got
big.
Yakuza to hit in a big way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but it looks like I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it looks like Xbox is really has a close relationship with Sega. Back in February when Phil was on our show, he was just talking about the relationship with Sega, meeting up with them, and Fantasy Star Online. And look, the Fantasy Star Online
right,
2
yeah,
New
yeah.
Genesis is coming out next year for the console too. So You never know.
Yeah, they gotta get Persona out of the PlayStation first, though.
Oh,
All the
that's a
Atlas
big one.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one.
So yeah, wild times. These consoles are coming out. These different services, these companies buying. It's a crazy time, not in the world too, but also in video games. So
Yeah, man.
Danny, thanks so much for joining us to break it down. Where can the folks find you on the
Uh,
internet?
you can find me Godfrey on Twitter. I'm very active there, and also Gamertag Radio. Look for us on any podcast platform. We're there. Also, we just got added to Amazon Music. They just launched a podcast section, so yeah, just look us up there, man.
Cool. I was going to
Subscribe.
also compliment your very on-brand green light
Oh
background for the
yeah, I
show.
did on purpose. I was like, hey.
Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, keep bringing PCMag. We'll have coverage of all these consoles. We have a review of Game Pass coming up pretty soon that I read. So yeah, thanks for watching.